Chinese New Year is coming up and it's going to be the year of the tiger. I'm Huiwen from Cocobelly Cakes and today I'll be making this cute Hello Kitty Year of the Tiger cake. I found this picture of Hello Kitty in a tiger suit and thought it would be really cute as a cake, so that's what we're gonna do. Before we get into cake, we need to make the internal structure. I made the bottom board out of MDF and I'm using a threaded rod as the middle support. The rod is threaded so I can use nuts to secure it to the board and also to position this cake board up top to hold up Hello Kitty's head. I printed out my inspiration picture to about the size of the cake I wanted, so you see I drew this line where I wanted the board to go and made sure that this board was at that height. Then I wrapped all the metal stuff in food-safe plastic and now we're ready to go. Hello Kitty's body and a little part of her head will be Rice Krispie treats. I'm using melted marshmallow as glue, which is going to help the crispy treats stick a lot more easily. You can make the body out of cake too, but last time when I made my gravity-defying hanging stocking cake, that was half cake and half Rice Krispies. The Rice Krispies were definitely a lot more popular and everybody wanted more. Coat your hands with shortening or butter or oil, then grab the Rice Krispie treats and smush them on and just keep shaping and squeezing it together till you get the shape of the torso. Then I grabbed some more and stuck it onto the bottom of the board to make the chin area and then to also give it more support from the bottom. Then I made 2 balls for her little feet. At this point, I realized that I forgot to line the baseboard. I wanted to use this pretty red laminated cardstock because in many Asian cultures, red is the color of good luck, and you'll see a lot of red everywhere when celebrating the New Year. Luckily, all I had to do was unscrew the nut underneath the board to take the rod out to pop that cardstock in. Once that was in, I covered it with parchment paper to protect it from the giant mess that I'm about to make. The cake flavor is pineapple. So Asians love to eat, so it's not a surprise that there's a lot of symbolism in our New Year food. Pineapple symbolizes luck and wealth, and the Chinese word for pineapple sounds like fortune coming your way. Hello Kitty's head is going to be about 6 inches wide, so I used 2 6-inch layers and a dome layered with Swiss meringue buttercream. Once that's stacked, I just carved it into the shape of her head. Her head is missing some volume in her cheeks, so I took the cake bits I cut off and mixed them together with some buttercream. This basically is what cake pops are made of. I took this and pressed them to the sides of her face to make her cheeks. That's much better. Then everything gets a coat of buttercream. I really love using my flexible scrapers for cakes that don't have straight edges because you can bend them to the shape that you need. You can buy these, but I just make mine out of pieces of cutting board, and I keep losing them, so it's really easy for me to make more. Once the crumb coat has had a chance to firm up in the fridge, we're gonna add the final layer of buttercream and stick it back in the fridge. We need the cake to be nice and firm before we start decorating. While she chills, let's make some gold ingots. This is super obvious symbolism. We want the New Year to bring us wealth. This actually reminds me of a really funny clip from the comedian Ronnie Chang about how Chinese people love money. He totally calls out that 恭喜发财, which you may have heard doesn't actually mean Happy New Year. It actually means hope you get rich. Okay, back to cake. Covering a cake with fondant always gives me anxiety. It takes a ton of practice and I definitely still have my off days with it. I'm going to be doing the front and the back in 2 separate pieces and then cutting off the excess. And I'm using my flexible scraper here, but as a flexible fondant smoother instead. So since my inspiration was a plushie, I wanted to give Hello Kitty's outfit a bit of a fuzzy look. I'm just using a starred icing tip to rough up the surface of the fondant to give it that texture. At this point, Hello Kitty looks like a massive mandarin orange, which I guess could have been okay. And if you guessed that oranges signified wealth, you are correct. After putting her face on, I'm using this tool to make a slight indentation around it so I can press the edges of the white fondant in a little bit more to make it look more connected to the orange instead of just overlaying it. Then I covered her torso with more orange fondant, then trimmed off the excess. Then we'll add her belly, and I'm using my flexible scraper smoother thing to tuck the edge in. Then I used the icing tip to also texture up her torso. Let's make her feet. I'm covering her feet with orange fondant and it just looks like I'm making more mandarin oranges. Use the icing tip to scuff these up too to make them look fuzzy, then add another smooth piece of fondant for the foot pad. For her ears, cut out 2 ear shapes, smooth out the edges and stick toothpicks on them. Cut out light pink pieces to go inside the ears and attach them with a bit of water. Then rough these up to make the fuzz. Set the ears aside to give them time to stiffen up so they can stand up by themselves later. For the tiger's face, make 2 balls for the snout and attach them with a bit of water. The nose is just a little black triangle that sits in between them. And then add the 2 eyes. She's actually starting to look less like an orange finally. To make the tiger stripes, I rolled out black fondant and then cut it into strips, then used a flower cutter to make the rounded ends. The tiger has one fat stripe down the middle and two skinny stripes, and then 3 more on each side of the face. Definitely use water sparingly here, especially when you're using colored fondants, because the color can bleed into whatever it touches. Since I'm already working with black, I'll do her face. When you're working with different colors, always clean your hands in between. So if I happen to have black fondant residue on my hands and I go to work with another color, the black will end up on the other color and make it look dirty, and it's really frustrating. And then with very clean hands, I will add a yellow fondant nose. For her bow, I'm using red modeling chocolate just because I had some and I didn't have red fondant. Modeling chocolate is basically candy clay. It holds detail better than fondant and is really great for sculpting. I have a video also on my channel that shows you how to make your own modeling chocolate, so you can check that out if you're interested. Once I had the bow pieces, I stuck them on with water. I wanted Hello Kitty to be holding a red envelope. It's a tradition for adults to give red envelopes containing money to children and also to their elderly parents or friends. I figured out how big it needs to be by just taking a piece of scrap paper, holding it in front of Hello Kitty, and cutting it down till it looked like the right size. Red envelopes are typically decorated with gold. The 2 colors, red and gold, symbolize luck and prosperity. I printed out the Chinese character for fortune, traced that onto the red envelope, and mixed together gold highlighter dust with melted cocoa butter to make this gold paint. For arms, I made a log of orange fondant and cut it along the diagonal and textured that up. Now we're ready for the final assembly of body parts. Position the feet just outside of where the red envelope sits. Attach the arms with a bit of water, and then add the 2 tiger ears. Add the gold ingots for the final touch, and we are done with our Hello Kitty Year of the Tiger cake. I hope you enjoyed this step-by-step video. Don't forget to subscribe to see more cake projects and tutorials, or leave a comment or a thumbs up to help others find this channel. Happy New Year, 恭喜发财, and I hope you get rich.